Hello and welcome to the Logcast, the weekly show about all things rare, platonic, and more. I am your host, Jeffrin Perez, and I'm joined this week by our usual co-hosts, Dave and Clay. How you doing, fellas?
Hello. Pretty good.
Yeah, man. Doing good.
Nice.
I had one of those mornings where I woke up, looked at the time, and I was like, holy crap, I'm late for work. And I started getting my work clothes on. Then I realized it was Saturday.
Did you really? Man, I haven't had one of those
today.
in like a long time.
Those are the worst.
Yeah, like ever since I've had a regular hours job, I haven't had that happen. But when I was in college, that happened a lot.
Yeah, I don't know. I must have just been so sleepy that I didn't realize what day it was. I was like, why didn't my alarm go off? What's going on?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you weren't late for work.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't get in the car and start driving, because if I hadn't remembered, I could have gotten that far easily.
God, that could have been something. Would have been a good tale to tell. But we're not here to talk about missing work. We are here to talk video games and rare and such. So, Dave, what have you been playing this week?
What have I been playing, you say? I've been playing all the games. By all, I mean 3.
I doubt that. 3?
No, nice. I have been playing a lot more games this week than previous weeks because Uncharted: The Lost Legacy has come out, and I'm a huge fan of Naughty Dog and Uncharted, so I typically don't do anything else when a Naughty Dog game comes out except play it until completion. So,
wow.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Nice.
I played that till completion.
How was it?
It was really, really good. I really liked it. I think it's probably the best game on PS4. That's original. Not counting all the remasters and stuff.
Yeah.
So
still,
okay, that's still pretty high praising.
Yeah, that's pretty high up there. I think you've got a little bit of a I don't know what the proper term is, but I don't know. I think Dave's got a very motherly look upon his children when it comes to the Uncharted games. Not saying they're bad games, but I don't think Dave can see any evil in them. And we've been arguing all week about whether or not.
You know what, Clay? You should go back and listen when Uncharted 4 came out, because me and Clay talked about it me and Kev talked about it on air.
It's like you and Clay, huh?
Yeah, and we actually had a lot of criticizations for that one. And
okay.
Yeah, I remember that actually. But
yeah.
Interesting. I'll have to go back. I probably won't, but I should do that.
Mm-hmm.
So what else have you been playing, buddy?
I've finished off Sonic Mania. By finished off, I mean I just hit end credits. Nice. I'm not one of those crazy people who can get all the Chaos Emeralds and medals and stuff.
Nah.
Yeah, I'm
not that good. So that was another amazing game. There's been so much amazing games this year. I can't even deal with it.
It's good to hear you say that, because I know you were kind of lukewarm and kind of like, well, there's not a whole lot of new in this, but it's good to hear that you did like it.
Yeah. I mean, it's not perfect, and I still wish there had been more new zones.
Yeah.
But they do a good job, especially in because each zone has 2 acts. The second act, they usually go really sort of off the wall with it and be less like the original. The first one's more of a tribute to the original level a little bit more. So, yeah, I kind of wish that it had all been entirely original, but at the same time, it was really cool to see what are the really weird remixes they come up with.
Yeah.
So it's definitely one of the all-time best Sonic games, and it's highly recommended.
Cool.
And in addition to that, I've still been... I put in Assassin's Creed Origins for some reason. That's not out yet. Assassin's Creed Rogue, I'm still playing through that. Yeah, I know, right? So I'm going for... I want to at least get 100% sync on the story missions, so I've been taking my time with it. And get near the end, I have like 3 or 4 more missions left, so I might try to finish that off today.
Nice.
And yeah, that's it.
Cool. For... myself, I've been playing mostly Sea of Thieves, Rocket League, like usual. I did pop in the Wind Waker earlier this week. Xbox Live was down for all of Tuesday night for me, so I literally couldn't get Sea of Thieves to open because of the Xbox Live issue. It was a game key verification issue, so like no games would open on the Xbox. Mm-hmm. So I turned on the Wii U, and I did that. There's that, not endless dungeon, but there's that like room to room dungeon on Outset Island where one of the Triforce shards is. Spoiler alert, sorry for anyone who's whatever. That game's been out for 15 years. But I realized I hadn't completed it. I hadn't gone past the Triforce room. So I went through and beat that. And that is one of my absolute favorite things in any Zelda, is just that room to room, and the combat in that game just makes you feel like a badass, and you just annihilate like 4 dark nuts while 2 of those toucan ghost guys fly around. Pretty awesome. I have no idea what those characters are called. Do you guys know? Do you know what I'm talking about? They're like wizard toucans.
I don't know particularly to Wind Waker, because I never really got into that one that much. I played through the basics once and never touched it again.
Yeah, I know what you're. They're called whiz robes.
Oh, okay.
No, wait, no,
those.
Well, maybe
Isn't
they
that
are
the one in the newer. Well, maybe they might just be an iteration of those.
Yes,
I
because
think those are the ones in the new.
Right.
That's typically what that enemy has been called in Zelda. I don't know if what you're describing in Wind Waker is exactly the same.
No,
thing,
they've just changed it up over all the games. It's looked so different in all the different games.
Okay.
But yeah, it's definitely a whiz robe.
Anyway, those things are a pain in the ass, especially when you're fighting a dark nut. So, anyway, really fun. And then, keeping with the nautical theme, which I just realized, played The Little Mermaid for the regular Nintendo, which is part of the Mouse Bites podcast that Clay and I are doing. So you can look that up. Bites being the digital term, not like a mouse eating cheese.
Correct.
Hence the pun. Anyway, so that's pretty much it for what I've played this week. I'm sure I might have popped in something else at some point, but nothing more significant.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a bad week for video games for me too. Not bad, but just slow. I started school back up this week, and so unfortunately, I don't know, my play sessions have just been very scarce. And even last night, my wife was working. I was home alone. Friday night, I could have done anything. And I kind of sat down and I just stared at my TV and I was like, what do I feel like playing right now? And I hate that feeling.
Me too.
Nothing was really sticking out to me I have time. Let's play this. I wanted to play Sea of Thieves, but you weren't available, and nobody else of my friends were playing it. And so it's I'd already played Sea of Thieves earlier in the week, and so I wasn't really feeling like playing it by myself again. And so, so I ended up getting back into Conker's Bad Fur Day. And
nice.
Yeah, love that game.
Good choice.
For some reason, I really enjoy playing that game in the fall. I have good memories playing it on Rare Replay the last couple of years, in October for some reason. And I know we're not totally there yet, but I was like, what the heck, I can get back into it. And so it dropped me back in where I had left off, and it took me a couple minutes to get myself kind of I was disoriented. I was like, where am I? What part am I at? And in fact, I had to ask you, Jeff, for some help, because I was like, I don't remember where I need to go. It's dark outside and I can't figure out what I'm supposed to do. So I finally got back on track, and so I'm at the beginning of the spooky chapter. So hopefully going to play some more of that today. I also played The Little Mermaid for the NES, which was created by Capcom. I don't want to get too much into it because we have a whole show to do on that. But, for an old retro game about The Little Mermaid, it's not terrible.
Agreed.
Not as girly as you would think.
It's a pretty hardcore game as far as gameplay goes.
Yeah, it's very Capcom for sure. It's basically your Mega Man and or DuckTales, but underwater, I guess.
That's a good way of describing it.
And I don't know if you guys have played, but there's a Little Mermaid game for I think it's Genesis. It might also be on Super, and that one I think is way worse than this one. The swim mechanic in it is pretty tough, pretty rough.
Okay.
But anyway, so it's a kind of a cheap game. So if you're looking for a good old school Disney game, check it out. Not as popular as some of the others, but still pretty good. I also played Sea of Thieves this week. They were running their big long alpha, and I had some fun. Me and Jeff got to play for a little bit together. Not terribly long, but it was not bad. And then I also played by myself a little bit. I think it was maybe Monday or Tuesday, I think. And I got pitted with some guys, and they were talking too much. They were just nonstop chit-chatting, and so I kind of got annoyed with them, and I usually try not to be the troll, but I was like, you know what, screw these guys. So they went onto an island to get something, and I just took off with the ship, and then one of them spawned back to the ship, and then I abandoned my ship, swam to an island, and then I remained on that island for at least an hour, kind of marooned myself, and just hung out, and then I got tired, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna call it a night. So did that.
Did you find a soccer ball and name it Wilson?
I wish. That'd be awesome if they had a little Easter egg like that. No, but hopefully one day if they do create, character creation for this game, I totally want to make myself look like a really old dude with like ratty clothes and a long like gray beard, if that's an option. I just want to look like this super old little like guy, and then I can just run around and talk in the old prospector voice.
That would be awesome.
That's my dream.
Based on the thing they teased at Comic-Con, I think that may be an option. So
okay.
The IPG that they called it and wouldn't tell us what that meant, but
yeah. But whether or not they'll let you be an old little like gray bearded old man, I guess we'll see. But
yeah,
that's my dream.
Looks promising.
Cool. And then lastly, I played Sonic Mania. Not as far because I originally was playing it on the Xbox, and then I picked it up for the Switch, and so I started over, and now I'm playing through the levels again. So I'm a little, kind of retracing my steps, I guess, which is I do not suggest doing for any game. It's kind of the worst when you start a game, then you're like, all right, I'm gonna start over, and I don't know. Yeah. But it's still a great game. I really like it, and it's pretty great on the Switch. So highly recommend it.
Nice.
The end.
Alrighty. Well, with that, we will hop on into the news of the week. Alrighty, so most of the news this week centers around Sea of Thieves at Gamescom. I'll start off with the first news topic, which is the announcement on, I guess it was Sunday, of the Xbox. It wasn't really a briefing, it was kind of a Xbox show at Gamescom, and I believe it was Joe Neate and Ted Timmons went on there to confirm that crossplay between the Xbox One and PC versions of the game is officially a confirmed feature. It had previously just been something they'd talked about testing and wanting to do, but they weren't sure if it would give an advantage or anything like that, but they did officially confirm that, so that's exciting.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, actually. I don't own a PC, but it's still exciting, I think. So, I mean, obviously it's going to open up and give us even more people to play with. And,
exactly.
There's a couple of other benefits, but I don't want to hog the spotlight. I don't know if any of you guys had any other thoughts, but
well, it'll be good for keeping the player count up. So it's always a good thing.
Yep, I think that's
it up to more
huge, and not having the same version on both platforms at all times, kind of like Rocket League, is only going to help it, and you don't end up with a fractured community that, like Minecraft for a long time, the PC version was far superior to the console version. They're just now getting close to parity.
Right.
And it just, it was one of those things where the PC people were like, oh yeah, well, look at you with horses. I've had that for 6 months or whatever.
Right.
So I think it's great and only beneficial to them. And because it's not a Twitch shooter, and there's no reason, in my opinion, for it not to be crossplay, and so I'm glad they saw that too, and it worked out with the metrics.
Right. And then another thing that we had discussed this week when they announced it was, hey, this could actually be the most realistic way to kind of have your own couch co-op, I guess, is what you could call it.
Good call.
And so, because realistically, we're probably all not going to go out and buy another Xbox to be able to play with friends, spouses, whatever.
At home, yeah.
As much as I want to buy that freaking Minecraft Xbox that just came out, or they just announced, I would love to have that and the one I have now and be able to do this. So maybe we'll see. But realistically, someone might have, their Xbox and a computer that they could, play. And so you could have, one on one on the other, and be in the same room or same house, whatever, and be able to work together. So I guess that's probably the closest we'll get to, having couch co-op or split screen or whatever. Because I think as far as we know, we haven't heard anything saying that there will be. I don't remember if there's...
They officially confirmed that it's not. So yeah.
Okay, so that's the closest it's going to get.
Have they said whether it's going to be cross-buy as well, the cross-play? Oh, you can only...
that was confirmed last year. Xbox Play.
Yeah, all right. So that's what threw me off, because I was like, I could have sworn that cross-play had already been confirmed when that happened.
A lot of people confuse the two of those.
Right.
The branding behind it from Xbox is not very clear, which is unfortunate. So yeah, no, it's totally. A lot of people thought that already.
See, because I could totally. I mean, I have a decent laptop, 17-inch. I could totally hook that up for someone else.
Nice,
even
dude.
just throw them the extra Xbox controller, since you can just sync them right to computers now, and you just literally have one person, of course, would have the huge TV, which wouldn't be fair, but still, it makes it possible. It's definitely a lot better than doing it on, like, say how the Wii U did it with that tiny little sub HD screen. So
yeah,
glad it's an option.
So
yeah, no,
I'm just hoping the system requirements aren't too out there.
They're saying they're getting pretty low system spec. They haven't officially given any details, but it sounds like it's promising.
Yeah, I would think so. I don't see... I mean, it looks really nice, but a lot of it, I don't see like 5,000 shaders or things like that.
There's not that, but there's a lot of physics happening in that game.
Yeah.
So,
the hardest thing looks like it's going to be like, just the physics and CPU calculations and
lighting
GPU
effects,
calculations and stuff like that, which, as long as you don't have a whole bunch of really graphic intense otherwise, I don't see why it couldn't be possible.
Dave, did you notice that you say calculations weird?
Calculations?
And emulator.
Emulator.
It's okay.
Sorry, I just had to point it out because it makes me chuckle. I love that about you, Dave. Sorry.
That's cool.
I'm not pointing out your flaws. I'm pointing out your perfections.
Things that make you you.
Yes.
I am the master of the English language.
Pretty sure Laura made fun of you for that on the April Fool's episode, actually.
Probably.
Yeah, that was awesome. So along with this crossplay confirmed, they also posted a video this week. I don't know what was the official title of those. Are those Tavern Talks, or is that just the podcast?
Inside Story.
Inside Story, yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Where they were kind of talking about the crossplay thing, and they mentioned hopefully adding some kind of like fun fader things where you could like turn off fish or...
Yeah, that was interesting.
What was the other one he said? I can't remember. But then they also talked about I don't know what the official terms for these are, but when you go into the menu and you can like pick how
essentially
graphic,
the presets.
Yeah, the presets, the graphic intensity, and they had like different names for them. I think the lowest one was like cursed. And the top couple were like legendary and mythical or something. Yep. And so I think one of them was like rare, wasn't it?
Yeah, it literally matches the names of the chests in the game. So, and their quality, their visual quality. So it's actually a cool callback to that.
That's pretty dope. I like that.
Yeah, I like that too.
So yeah,
that's a rare touch.
It's a nice little touch, yeah. So yeah, if you haven't checked out that video, definitely give it a look. The other question I had for you guys on this topic, Jeff kind of already hit on it. This isn't a Twitch shooter kind of thing where you need these super fast reflexes that only like a mouse could give you. Can you guys think of any other things or mechanics or whatever in this game that might benefit from mouse and keyboard over having a controller, or do you think most people will play this on a PC with like an Xbox controller?
I think people will play mouse and keyboard like most people who are PC gamers will.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know that there's really any benefit though. Like it's without the Twitch shooting, you might get a little bit better kills and aiming and stuff.
Well,
but
it depends on what settings they have. Like PC
firefighting.
gamers are all about like the field of view slider. A lot of times they think that it's not enough, so they'll slide that way up so they can sort of see more. So that's something that could be theoretically you could go above whatever the frame rate is going to be on the current one if you have a good enough rig. Things like that.
And they'd be able to see ships further out.
Yeah, some probably better draw distances. Some crazy person with who's like I don't even know if 8K monitors are a thing, but I'm saying if there's an 8K monitor, I'm sure some
I think
crazy
I've heard that there
mofo-
are.
There used to not be because Linux Tech Tips actually did it an 8K episode once, and then he put 4K monitors together to make an 8K monitor, and it was a big deal.
Wow.
So, which is also possible. He also did 16K with like 8 4K monitors once.
Jeez. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the being able to see ships from far away is already pretty much perfected in the Xbox version.
Yeah,
if you ask me.
I feel like they've optimized that.
Like
Yeah.
I don't know how you could see any further, but I guess maybe you could. It would be perhaps.
Yeah.
But I feel
Yeah,
like they.
and
I feel like
you can't give an edge to people. You can't let them increase
Right.
their draw distance just because they can. That's a tactical advantage, and I don't think you want that.
Right. I doubt they would, but
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't think the Pacific settings have really been confirmed about what you're going to be able to do.
the Pacific.
But
The specific ones have not either. The Atlantic ones maybe. That was a good nautical pun.
Yeah, I liked it. Good job, Dave.
That's totally was a pun and not me failing at the English language again.
All right. Yeah, I mean, last thought on draw distance or whatever. I feel like the human eye can only go see so far, and I think
Yeah.
they've like got that kind of down because this is supposed to be more realistic, and so I feel like where they have it now is pretty much what you would see if it was real. So I feel like if you took it much further, it would just be unrealistic, But
Gotta be a certain because a lot of it's just the oxygen and the air builds up, so it makes everything bluer and bluer.
Exactly.
That's not so. Yeah.
science, woo.
Science.
Okay. Well, that's all I had to say about the crossplay thing. I just thought I'd mention it. I can talk about the next point. I kind of mentioned it earlier when we were talking about what we've been playing, but this week, Sea of Thieves opened up an alpha for the entire week. Which is pretty great. Unfortunately, our weeks have been pretty busy, but it sounds like me and Jeff have still had the opportunity to get in there and play around, quite a few rounds. And when does it close again? Do you guys remember?
It's tomorrow, which
Sunday.
for those listening, it'll be the 27th at 8 a.m. British Standard Time
Yes.
or British Summer Time.
So
The SOS
if you're listening to this as soon as it goes up, assuming something happens, I don't get it up late, you can probably still play.
Yes.
But if not, I mean, what was that calculate out to? It's 24 times 5, so 120 consecutive hours.
Yeah.
Which their previous one the longest one was 24 hours. So it was pretty sweet that they tried it, and as far as I can tell, it never failed. During E3, they had to cancel a session because just some whatever server issues, etc. But this one, the only issue was the Xbox Live one, which really was out of their control, and people who were already logged in, like Clay was, were able to stay on. So
Yeah. So random.
Yeah.
I felt not worthy that I was on, but you couldn't get on. I was like, oh, dude, I would totally give up my online ability to give it to you, but I could not.
Aw.
So
it's okay.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have gotten that awesome Wind Waker time in.
that's true. That's true.
Yeah. I would have been on, but then I was playing Uncharted all week.
Fair
so
enough. I like
I'm sorry.
how Jeff couldn't get on, so he's like, I'm gonna play Wind Waker because you get to get on a boat in this one.
It's
basically the same thing.
Yeah, more or less.
That's funny.
Yeah,
I guess
I would think
well, no, I
Black
could've
Flag
played
or
Black Flag.
something would be a closer
Well,
approximate.
definitely.
I could have put my Xbox into offline mode and launched Black Flag, but at that point, I just was.
He was
I didn't
mad.
Really wanna,
You're like,
Yeah.
stupid Xbox. Stupid.
No, I feel like there was a reason I put in Wind Waker, but I couldn't even tell you what that was. So anyway, I played the battleship mini game that's on Windfall Island with the Curse Ploosh guy,
Nice.
and I had never gotten the piece of heart from that, so I did that, and that was pretty sweet.
Very
Cool.
nice.
You know,
Congratulations on the heart.
thanks, man. All right,
You're welcome.
next thing I can actually talk a little bit about, I think, and unless Dave, you want to talk about any of these, I know you've been less involved.
I know that there was mixer streams, but I didn't actually watch them because I was playing
there were
Uncharted all week.
There were several each day, and they'd kind of be on the hour every hour from I want to say it was like 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. Pacific time, so whatever that calculates out to the rest of the world. And it would mostly be a couple of Sea of Thieves devs from Rare, and then a couple of insiders who were at Gamescom. Just got to go in and play with them. Occasionally it would be all Rare devs, and occasionally it would be just insiders. But it was pretty cool, and they'd play for 50 minutes, 5-0, and pretty much just going through what the technical alpha players were going through. It was connected to the live technical alpha servers as it was during E3, and I tried to pop in when I could, as much as I could, and it was really funny. During a stream yesterday, Craig Duncan and studio head at Rare and Joni, executive producer of Sea of Thieves, were playing with two devs from 343 Industries, the creators of Halo, or the current stewards of the Halo license, I guess.
Yes.
Creators of the most recent versions of Halo is a good way to put it. They were playing together, and I was not playing, but they thought that I had been on their server and that they had killed me and stolen my chest. And so Craig kept apologizing profusely throughout the stream. He's like, Jeff, I feel so bad. I was in the chat and I was like, guys, it wasn't me. I swear. And I think everybody thinks I was trolling them because they think that I was just too embarrassed that I got killed.
Right. Of course
you
were.
Yeah.
Right, Jeff. This story is very likely.
What if someone just hacked your account and was playing as you?
Right.
Someone who was really desperate to get into
violating
the data.
NDA. God,
Or the alpha.
Sounds like something that Kev would do.
Yeah. So that was pretty funny. And literally as of 5 minutes ago, I was just made a mod for the Sea of Thieves mixer stream. So that was pretty exciting.
Nice.
What?
That's
Breaking
exciting.
news.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Breaking news. Congratulations, Jeff.
Oh, thank you, guys.
He's going to ban us all.
That's
Banned.
Right. I'm going to go in there and start causing trouble. I'm just going to post a bunch of poop emojis over and over.
Ban.
No, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, pretty cool that they've been using Mixer. I didn't mention also they were co-streaming, which is where 4 screens are shown at once in one stream. So that was pretty cool. One of the new Mixer features from E3.
Nice.
Cool. And
Next.
Dave,
you want to take this one?
Yeah, there's a ukulele giveaway. If you did not have a chance, and or like $500 or $600, Platonic Games is giving away a copy of the N64 edition of Ukulele. But just to be clear, it's not a real N64 game. It's just a cartridge with like a flash stick inside it. But it's still awesome, and I want it just to have it. But
yeah,
alas.
It's interesting because I don't think that there probably won't be any more of these ever either created or given away. I mean, they might give more away, but there really is no way to get one now. After Kickstarter,
right.
They kind of, this is the only way that we know that you can get one unless you make your own.
They're super expensive to make because they basically had to contact another company who, like, I guess, requisitions old cartridges and stuff.
Yeah.
So chances are it's like some old copy of Madden 64 hollowed out with a new sticker put on it.
Right. Exactly. But
Yep.
yeah, I entered. I really hope to get it. But last I checked, there was like 30,000 retweets or something ridiculous. I can't remember what it was, but it was pretty high up there. So I think a lot of people are hoping to get their hands on it. So yeah, if you're interested, go over to Platonic's Twitter. I think it's got a little time left before. Didn't you guys say like Monday or something?
I think it says it closes Monday. So if you listen to this on Sunday, hopefully you'll have time to go check that out if you haven't.
Get on it quick.
Yep, definitely. And then what's our last news of the week here, guys?
Well, our last news kind of ties into our main topic, and GoldenEye just turned 20 years old.
Holy crap.
Yeah. Next year, GoldenEye can drink.
Yay!
Except it's British, so it can drink already.
Oh,
That's true.
No, but yeah, it's really exciting and a good segue into our main topic. So yeah, as we just mentioned, GoldenEye is now officially a 20-year-old video game, which is just mind-blowing. I mean, if you just think like, okay, it came out in 1997, what was 20 years old in 1997? Like Pong? Like holy crap!
Pong was not created in 1997.
I said what was 20 years old in
Yeah.
1997.
Oh, my bad.
I said, well, just looking at a 20-year-old game, which as we're doing, what would have been a 20-year-old game in 19?
Star Wars was 20 years old in 1997.
That is also true.
Yes.
Very weird.
Princess Diana died in 1997. That happened.
Yeah, she did.
Then.
Like pretty much the end of August, wasn't it? Anyway.
Yeah.
Right around the same time that GoldenEye came out, which is a sad thing. But yeah, so GoldenEye launched. I think it launched in Japan at the beginning of that same week, and then came out stateside and in Europe on the 25th. And the rest is kind of history. It was a slow burner that didn't sell super well that first little bit, but I mean, word of mouth, it spread, especially across like college campuses, universities, and it just kept selling and selling. And eventually reached. Do you guys know the number? Was it 8 million, 7 million? I want to say 8.
I'm not sure. I remember hearing that it like made more money than the actual movie. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but I remember.
I'm gonna look that up right now. You guys keep going.
Okay. Yeah, I was trying to look myself actually.
Okay.
Sorry. No.
Everyone stop Googling. We're doing a podcast.
Get off your computers. No, actually.
8.09 million.
There it is.
Sold.
Okay.
So let's go. Let's see. 8.09, and we'll average that those were what, 50 or 60?
60.
Say 60. $485 million.
Okay.
Let's see what the box office was. GoldenEye box office total. $355 million. So yeah, the game made more money technically than the movie.
Snap.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, that's assuming that the price was that, but I mean, that's not
Right.
counting used copies, so yeah, it's got to be close to that.
Interesting. Yeah.
Actually, well, the last few were probably Player's Choice Million Sellers, which went for 20 or 40.
Right.
Anyway, whatever. It obviously made almost as much or more than the movie, which is incredible.
Did you guys know that?
When does that ever happen?
Yeah, right. Did you guys know that movie tickets were $4.59 in 1997?
That's ridiculous. How much were they in 1995?
That's depressing.
When the movie came out?
Hold on. Yeah, I can do that too.
Okay.
Yeah, let's see.
That's not fair.
My local theater still does matinees for $5.50.
Yeah, we
But
have
I'm special.
what is it called? Something like Cheapskate Tuesdays or something, where they're $6.
$6 is cheapskate. What the heck, man? What the heck?
Hashtag inflation sucks. Any luck there, Clay?
No, the website I'm on didn't have the movie ticket price for 1995 for some reason.
That's okay. We'll say it was $4.25.
$4.35. I found it. You were close. So
Oh, I was close.
yeah.
All right. Well, whatever. I mean, you sell something for $4.35 and you sell something for $60, you're going to get some discrepancies, but still, it's a testament to the game.
Yeah,
and how
definitely.
awesome it was. So, yeah, I don't know. How do we want to start this? We want to talk a little bit about our earliest memories of when it first launched.
Yeah.
Yeah,
think
let's do that. That's the thing.
Okay. Dave, why don't we start with you? I know you love GoldenEye. I know we
Yeah,
love GoldenEye,
okay.
but talk about let's hear about kind of your first being aware of it, and obviously I'm assuming you're already a Rare fan at that point.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I was as much aware of what Rare was to an extent. I definitely knew the logo, and I knew that what it meant as far as quality.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to remember when my first exposure to it was.
Okay.
It might have been the promotional mailing for it. There was. I don't think they did a videotape, but there was a pretty substantial packet they mailed out, and it was in like the form of like a dossier. So you got this little like dossier in the mail and had like all this promotional information about it. I think that was my first time I was aware of it. I might have seen like something of it on the internet, but I probably, because it was a licensed game, I might not have looked too closely at it.
Interesting.
The first time I played it was at a Toys R Us display because that used to be my thing. And
Oh, yeah,
Toys R
man,
Us
me
and
too.
playing the displays. They used to have such elaborate ones.
You could
with,
like push the button of the game box and it would give you like the trailer and stuff.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
Those are
the
awesome.
one. I think I was living in Idaho at the time, but I know the one there had like at least 6 N64s all in like a line.
Oh, you mean like
Ye-
actual stations?
Yeah,
Ours did not.
actual stations. Yeah, they
Ours
put
had a
them up.
Saturn.
They put them up right when when the N64 first came out, just so like tons
Nice.
of people could come and play them. And they kept them there until the Dreamcast came out. Then they took them down and put in Dreamcasts. And honestly,
Wow.
at that point, I just think I stopped going because I was getting older, and I didn't want to always go to Toys R Us. But case in point, yeah, they had a whole bunch of them with GoldenEye on it, and I finally got a chance to play it, and I was like blown away. I remember playing. I didn't play the Dam first because for whatever reason I played Facility first. So my first time playing it was actually going through that grating, dropping down in the toilet, shooting the guard in the head. And I was like, oh my gosh, this game is awesome. And
Sweet.
yeah, I somehow convinced my mom to buy it for my birthday, even though,
And about how
she
old were
wasn't
you at that
much-
time? Or what birthday would that have been? Like
you
11,
make me do
12?
math. Yeah, I feel like I was 12 or 13. Like, I can't remember my exact age, but
Well, how old
My
are
mom
you
was-
now?
I'm 31.
Oh,
So it was
That's-
20 years ago. So you would have been 11.
My birthday's October 2nd, so that
So it would
also
have been
makes
your
sense.
12th birthday then?
Yeah.
Weekend has
Yeah.
math.
There you go. US math. So yeah, but basically I didn't get that many. I was pretty much I was raised in like an E-rated, G-rated only household.
Yeah.
So it took a little convincing, I remember, but I'm glad I got it, and it blew me away. And,
Nice, dude.
And changed my life.
Yep. Clay, what was your kind of early days with GoldenEye
all right. Well,
like?
let's see. When this game came out, I was 9 years old, so
Oh,
we were pretty heavily into the N64. I think by this point, owned one. So I don't know if we even got it within the first year. Unfortunately, my memory is not as good in those years, but we definitely did get it. I don't ever remember having like a box for it, so I assume back in those days my parents mostly bought things used, which is why we didn't really have a whole lot of boxes for these games. It was mostly just they'd come home with the cartridge and we didn't care.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, cool, sweet.
Nice.
So I can't even remember specifically like us getting it. I just remember like the first memories I have with it is playing with my siblings. I have 2 younger brothers, and so that's why the N64 was so great for us coming out of the Super Nintendo. Is hey, we can all play at the same time, and so it was very rare that I got to play the single player stuff. You'd have to get up early on Saturday or something and beat my brothers down to the system if I wanted to do that. So, but yeah, really my big memories there is just playing tons and tons of multiplayer with them and just killing each other and having to make rules that you can't play as Odd Job, and like it was a really intense and fun thing that we would do. I do remember some of the hype leading up to it, so I think once we did finally get a hold of it, I was pretty aware that it was quality. So that's what makes me think that I probably didn't get it like immediately. It was something that I got later on because I had already caught word that like this was pretty sweet. I don't know if I'd played a lot of first-person shooters up to this point, so this was kind of one of the bigger games for me, like kind of an introductory to first-person shooters. I may have played some before this, but none I don't think I enjoyed as much as this. So this was kind of an eye-opener for me. And also, like Dave, my parents were pretty strict about what we played and what things were rated, so I'm so thankful that Rare, pushed hard to make this. I assume they pushed hard to make it teen and not mature, and because I never got to play Perfect Dark for that reason, and so so we were able to get this one. My parents didn't care. They're like, yeah, okay, cool. It says teen on it. That's fine. Yeah. So yeah, that was kind of it. Not like a really great story, but I definitely had it, and we loved it, and more multiplayer than single player, but yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
For myself, I remember, I don't remember it coming out, and it was one of those things where I didn't have an N64 yet. My buddy Jason, who lived about a block away, who I've talked about before, is the one that I rented Banjo-Kazooie with the following year. But he had gotten an N64 Christmas of '96, so he'd gotten one pretty early. And he was the one who kind of, I think he rented it from Blockbuster, and I went over for like a slumber party, whatever. I was in 6th grade. And we played it like all night long. Like we just, we set up, like we got the cardboard boxes to cut the screen in half. And, like, I mean, we went hardcore just right off the bat, which is funny because that's like a joke now with like the kind of like the X through the screen with like cardboard.
I didn't know people actually did that. I thought that was a myth.
No, like competitive multiplayer people would totally do that. I don't know how widespread, but yeah, I knew people that did it, and me and my friends did it. But I remember like playing it a little bit, and it was just this one night, and then like he'd only rented it. He rarely bought games. He owned like Donkey Kong Country 2, and that's how I first played that. Also, was by borrowing it from him, but he mostly just rented. So after he gave it back to Blockbuster, I was just like obsessed with this game, and like I still didn't have an N64. And so I was spending the night at another friend's house, Matt, like a couple weeks later maybe, and we called every Blockbuster in the area to try and rent it that night, and nobody had it in stock. And so we were like, well, maybe we can go buy it. So we called like Toys R Us, and we called, I think, probably Walmart and some other places. Nobody had a copy in stock. This is probably September of '97, maybe October. And it was just like the game was impossible to find.
Wow.
And yeah, it was mind blowing. And so it was just like almost like a drug. Like I wanted a GoldenEye fix. And back to my friend Jason, in November, he had his birthday party, and it was like spy themed, and we played GoldenEye, and it was it was really fun. But yeah, that's kind of like my earliest impression. And you know, at that point, I knew the Rare logo well from the Super Nintendo games. And again, my friend Jason had rented Blast Corps, so I'd played that a little bit. And so, yeah, it was just it was had Donkey Kong not cemented my love for Rare, GoldenEye just reinforced it as like, oh yeah, they know what they're doing, and this is the seal of quality. That was kind of that moment for me. Like, oh yeah, everything they touch is gold. Or golden.
Mm-hmm.
Or GoldenEye.
That's why it's got that golden logo.
Boom.
Player's choice.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of where we all came from with GoldenEye. Let's maybe talk a little bit about the games that came after. We've done a spotlight on GoldenEye, and if you want to go back to season 2, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's season 2, episodes 9 and 10, but I could be wrong.
I was gonna say it was like April-ish. Anyway, you'll find them if you go and look, I promise. But so if you want to hear more about the game itself, what we want to talk about in this episode, I think a lot, is the legacy that it left. And I think we can kind of just jump into that with the games that kind of followed it immediately, and the ones that had its name down the road that maybe weren't exactly true spiritual successors. One of you want to jump into the immediate successor, the Game Boy, whatever you want to jump into,
sure,
Dave?
Yeah. It came out like 1998, so it was right after. I think that was also, as far as I know, I think that's the only other James Bond game published by Nintendo.
Probably.
So I think it's kind of unique in that regard. So I remember I kind of thought like, oh my gosh, this is the portable version of GoldenEye. Though
Right.
it really wasn't that at all, but I remember getting excited about it because that's what I thought it was.
Gotcha.
It's been a while since I've played it, but it's top down, so it almost feels more like a Zelda type thing. It's a very unique game. I don't think it's bad at all.
Did you ever play Perfect Dark for Game Boy? Is it similar to that? Because that was
Game Boy
top-down.
Color. No,
Yeah.
it's not like Perfect Dark Game Boy Color at all.
Okay.
It must be good then.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, Perfect Dark Game Boy Color is terrible.
It's pretty bad.
I might just be looking back at it through rose-colored glasses.
I liked it as a kid.
For nostalgia, but I remember I did enjoy James Bond 007 for Game Boy for what it was. I remember it being very hard, though, but it feels a little bit more like a game Nintendo would publish, if that makes any sense.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It doesn't
totally
feel
does.
like a licensed...
Do we know
like a crappy
who
licensed
did develop
movie.
that version, the Game Boy one?
I don't remember the name of the company.
Oh, actually, I think that's in our doc right here. You just have to zoom in because I can't read it.
Fair enough.
Oh, shoot. It looks like it says Selfie. What does that say?
It's
Sapphire.
Sapphire. I am not familiar with them at all.
Me neither. And sorry, I messed up the formatting.
You did.
Yeah.
There it is.
My bad. Shit. Anyway, God. Abort.
We just broke our document.
Sorry, guys.
It's all right.
Don't let me touch the buttons.
It's fine. Just leave it.
All right. So Sapphire developed that. I have no idea who they are or what else they've done. But in addition to that, after the N64 version, there was Rare decided not to follow up. As we all know, they decided to do Perfect Dark. So a different developer, I believe this is Eurocom, developed The World Is Not Enough, another first-person shooter for the N64, because Tomorrow Never Dies was done only for the PlayStation by another studio, which so doesn't really have the GoldenEye legacy. Clay, did you play The World Is Not Enough on N64?
I own it. I don't think I've played it, and if I have, it's been a long time.
Okay.
I was just looking at screenshots of it, and I was like, yeah, I don't know if I've played this. So
Okay, yeah, I've
shame
never
on
played
me, but not yet. So
Yeah, it doesn't come anywhere near close to the glory of GoldenEye. However, I do think it's still like the best shot since.
Yeah, Eurocom was a
proper
great
band
studio.
game.
I'm kind of sad that they're not around,
Yeah.
but the games they made usually were really good. So
yeah,
I need to pick that one up. I've always wanted to try it.
Yeah,
At that point,
it was
Electronic
one of the
Arts got
last
license to
N64
publish.
games I ever bought, if I remember right.
Okay.
Before, actually, I think I bought it when I had a GameCube, but I ended up, I think I ended up buying more N64 games when I had a GameCube than GameCube games, to be honest, because I was never super into the GameCube. But I remember picking that up and really liking it because I really wanted anything connected to Rare. And like, this is the closest thing to a sequel to GoldenEye. It's kind of connected. I want it. I must own it.
all right. So I have a
So
question.
it was 2000.
I have a question for you guys. I can't remember which it is. I'm pretty sure it's either Night. It might be Nightfire. I'm thinking of. I might be getting ahead of myself.
That's okay.
Never mind. I'll shut up. I'll figure it out as we go along. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm thinking of a game and I'm trying to remember which one it is. That's all. So
No, let's say it. Say it. It's okay.
there's a game I played on PS2. It might be Nightfire, where you have this like controllable rocket that you can shoot, and you can like fly it around and then land it, like hit somebody with it. And there was like an open snow level in multiplayer that you could. There was like a snow lift or like a ski lift or whatever. Anybody?
Yes. Yeah, that sounds like Nightfire.
Might be Nightfire. There was a weapon in multiplayer where
yeah.
you could like control a
It was
rocket.
like the Slayer from
I
Perfect
never
Dark.
even touched that one. I
Yeah.
did play Agent Under Fire a little bit.
Right.
But I never
Yeah, I did not like Agent Under Fire, so I stopped after like the first level.
What? You guys didn't like Agent Under Fire? That game is
but I completed
awesome.
Nightfire. Really?
I didn't dislike it. I just never owned it.
It
I
always
always
bothered me.
wanted
The
to
bullets
play
felt slow, and they were like these bright yellow dots that flew across the screen. It was really.
Dude,
I don't know.
I think that's my favorite Bond game post GoldenEye is that one. On the PS2 it looked so
Interesting.
good. I thought the gameplay was really good on it. That's disappointing.
Okay.
But that's
So, I mean,
That's
that came out a year after The World Is Not Enough. So, World Is Not Enough came out 2000, so 3 years after GoldenEye. Was really trying to copy GoldenEye's formula, and I have no idea if it succeeded or not. It seems like, in general, it gets favorable reviews, but just not quite as good as GoldenEye.
yeah.
Agent Under Fire, basically same thing, but with twin stick and on the next gen, which was GameCube, PlayStation 2, and Xbox.
Correct.
I think that's what
So-
threw me off at the time was the twin stick. Because I was so set in my C button strafing that I was like, what's this?
It took me a
What's this
while.
twin
I used
stick
to actually
nonsense?
change because they would always include a GoldenEye control scheme, so you could
Oh, yeah.
strafe left, right stick, and then basically mimic the C buttons but with a stick. And I used to
when
play.
I first played Time Splitters 2 at
yeah.
a store display for original Xbox, I mapped all the face buttons to be the same as the C buttons.
Same. I did too. I used the stick. I didn't map the face buttons, but yeah, I totally. I didn't do the twin stick like left is your body, right is your head. Like I just copied.
Like, who does that? What is this? This makes sense. And now it's like standard.
Right.
Now
Yeah,
it
I
feels
couldn't.
weird going back to it.
I can go back to an N64 controller, but like, if I try to do those same settings and say like the Perfect Dark port on Xbox 360, like
Mhm.
it just doesn't work.
Right.
You guys should
So-
seriously go back and try Agent Under Fire.
Okay,
I
I own it. I'll put it in. Again
Yeah,
on
do
the
it.
show.
I don't know if I own it, but if not, I want to go buy it because just
Okay.
looking at footage of it, I'm like, I miss this game. This game was good.
I'm really sad that probably licensing issues are probably going to keep a lot of these from coming
Most
to the
of-
original Xbox PC.
Yeah,
Because I really want to play them. There's so many licensed original Xbox games that I've never got to play, and I would love it if I could.
On the plus side, I mean, Goodwill sells Xboxes for like $10 or $20. So
Yeah,
That's true.
You can do
games are
And
even
it's-
cheaper.
composite.
I
it's
I
component
wanted
out.
to go through a proper like digital connection to my TV.
Sometimes you just got to bite the bullet.
Come on, Dave.
God.
Jeff, I do.
That's
Anyway,
true.
Jeff,
think
I do
the
see you.
Xbox actually
Go ahead.
is pretty easy to convert to a proper signal.
It should be.
'cause it's,
Yeah.
No,
I have to look into it.
I was gonna say, Jeff, I see what you mean about the bullets, though. It is kind of weird looking at it now.
And maybe just at the time I was again still in GoldenEye as king mode, and I didn't give it the chance it deserved probably, but it just felt
Yeah.
slow and sluggish to me.
I know. I remember the first time I played Halo. I'm like, this is just a crappy Perfect
Same.
Dark ripoff. Perfect
Oh, yeah.
Dark's king.
Yep, same. Nightfire, they fixed a lot of those issues. It was I think those were both under the same developer. I could be wrong. And I really liked Nightfire. I know that they had the Need for Speed team do the driving levels, which is kind of cool. At the time, that was kind of a new thing to have studios collaborate like that,
right.
or so it seemed. But I remember them making a big deal about that in Nintendo Power issue.
Did either of you guys play 007 Racing?
No, I did not have a PlayStation.
I didn't. I actually think my wife has because she's mentioned it before.
Really?
Nice.
That's funny.
That's
She's
cool.
played one of them. Yeah, she's played. She used to play some of the old Bond games, some that I haven't even played, and she references them sometimes. I have no idea what she's talking about.
That's awesome.
Nice.
I know. I need. I love James Bond, and I want to own more of these old games.
Definitely.
But yeah, stupid licensing keeping things from, being re-released. It's dumb.
Yeah. So did we get to everything or nothing yet? I'm not sure where we
No.
were at. Okay.
We're at Nightfire, so I don't even know what Hover Chase is. So let's just do everything or nothing.
Cool. I love this game.
Me too. That is my favorite post GoldenEye Bond game.
Okay.
So that's the one that's third person.
Third
Right.
person has like Shannon Elizabeth and Willem Dafoe and like tons of celebrities.
See,
Judi Dench is in it. It
Yeah.
was the first one that Pierce
I
Brosnan
never even
actually
was
did his
interested
own
in that
voice,
one
I
just
think.
because it wasn't first
That's right.
person. I was like, that's blasphemy.
Oh, bro,
Bond's
it's
a
such a
first
fun
person.
game.
It is. Did you have it on
I'm
because
sure
GameCube?
it is. I just didn't.
Yeah, I had it on
get a chance
GameCube.
for
It's because they
reasons.
weren't trying to copy GoldenEye, and they did something original, and it works so well.
Yeah.
It's not a perfect game. I mean, it's a little glitchy, but in general, it's really awesome.
Yeah, for a third-person shooter at this point in time, I think they freaking nailed it.
Yep.
Yeah, I love this game. If you haven't
Absolutely
played
love
it,
the
definitely
gadgets are really cool.
check
and
it out.
The spider sense or whatever, the bond sense.
Yeah.
Great
The
game,
Bond
Dave. Highly
sense.
recommend it.
00 cents.
So
Nice.
it's weird to me just looking at the timeline, like how close together these all were. Because, like, I don't know, back then, I'd say like 2005 and earlier, it felt like forever between games, and like 2 or 3 years in the games industry felt like an eternity. Whereas now it's like we've been sitting on Sea of Thieves for 2.5 years or whatever at this point, or 2 years and 2 months, and it doesn't feel like that long. But
Yeah.
the fact that the GoldenEye Rogue Agent announcement happened, in 2004, it looks like, because that's when it came out.
Right.
That's just mind blowing to me because it was such a big deal, to use the GoldenEye name again and yada yada. It was a total sham, as we found out, but
Yeah, I remember that was first announced. It was like new GoldenEye game.
yeah,
And everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, what is this?"
but
A
it was
sequel to GoldenEye.
it was an awful use of exploiting consumers through using a
Isn't
word.
it legitimately about someone with an actual golden eye?
Yes, it's an enemy named, or it's a bad guy with a gold eye. It's nothing to do with
There's literally like, okay, so we want to
Pisses
call
me
this
off.
game GoldenEye. Come up with a plot.
right. I never
Yeah.
played it. Did you guys? I just avoided it because I was so pissed.
Nope. Never played it.
Okay.
I think I played the first level on emulator recently, and I didn't think it was like the worst thing I ever played, but it was just, I don't know, offensively mediocre. I guess it'd be the best. I would like to go back to it at some point and see what it's like. but
Yeah,
I doubt I
do
ever
want to
will.
try it, but yeah.
Yeah, I just want to say so obviously they haven't been making Bond games since like 2012 or at least. But I feel like I'm one of the people that should be partially responsible for that, cuz basically after Everything or Nothing, I don't think I've played any of these.
Interesting.
Which I don't know if that's my fault or if it's just the fact that Activision and EA can't put out another good Bond game, but
They struggled, yeah.
yeah, but yeah, it's just something.
I've played all but like 3 of them, so
Okay.
I don't feel too bad about that.
Yeah, but part of me is like, oh, I want to play another Bond game, but now I just like I look at all these ones, the last few that came out. I'm like, maybe we don't need another one.
I mean, we can talk about them as we get to them, but I actually enjoyed the last 2 there.
Okay.
So From Russia with Love was the next one after this. It was a spiritual successor to, or it was running on the same engine as Everything or Nothing, and it had Sean Connery, which was
So I honestly thought
really awesome.
those both was like the same game for a while for some reason.
Yeah, I never got to play From Russia with Love, so that's another one I've always meant to buy, and I was like holding a copy of the original Xbox version in a store one time, and I was going to get it, and then I asked the store clerk if it was on the 360 back compat list, and it wasn't, so I didn't get it because I didn't have an OG Xbox. I should have just picked it up. At this point, I'd probably just get it for the GameCube. Hopefully it's not super expensive.
Yeah, probably not.
Right.
Yeah. So that was kind of the end of that era of games, and then it was kind of the whole series went through a new reboot with Quantum of Solace in 2008.
Interestingly, that is one of the few games that's not Call of Duty that Treyarch developed.
Yeah. This was kind of Treyarch's first. I mean, I don't know how long they've been around, but this was kind of the first Treyarch game I remember playing. I'm sure they'd put out a Call of Duty before that, but this is the one.
They did Call of Duty 3, and then they used to do is that was Call of Duty 3 was their first mainline. They used to do the sort of like they did Call of Duty 2 Big Wet one, like the console
the alternative ones.
Of,
yeah,
the alternative ones.
Okay.
I think they might have done a few other licensed games.
Yeah,
but I think Quantum of Solace was like one of the few ones they did after they sort of became like a Call of Duty developer.
Yeah. This one was an interesting one because it includes all of Casino Royale within the game, and it almost makes you wonder if like they were trying to get that out for that movie and they just missed it, and so they just combined it into this one and released it.
Huh.
Have you guys, Clay, you said you haven't played these, but Dave, did you play Quantum of Solace?
No, this is one I actually do really want to play.
It's not a terrible game. It's not a great game. It shouldn't have tried to be Call of Duty because that's what it did. But, you know, it's a 60 frames per second running on the COD engine. It's different. It's not GoldenEye. It wants to be. It's too linear. It's not open exploring levels. It's very objective based. But it is cool that it has both stories in it, and it's almost more Casino Royale than it is Quantum of Solace, I feel.
That's crazy.
Which is really weird. But I almost feel like that's more of the game, and the Quantum of Solace stuff was more tacked on. But it's a good game. It's worth experiencing, I would personally say.
Yeah, it looks like a mix of first person and then third person once you like get behind cover and stuff. So
yeah, like Perfect Dark Zero.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting.
That was a big thing because it was messing with the Call of Duty formula of letting you see Bond and letting you do cover fire. So yeah, that was a interesting mechanic that worked with mixed success, I'd say.
Huh. Okay.
But again, I would recommend it to people. Like, I wouldn't say don't play it. I would say give it a shot. It's not great, but it's not bad.
Nice.
Yeah. Bloodstone. Never played that one.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that was a thing.
I remember when it came out because it was the 360 and PS3 version of Bond because GoldenEye was exclusive to the Wii at that point.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. That's probably why it completely passed me by. I guess it was lost in the hype.
Yep.
Around the very disappointing, whatever you want to call it, reimagining, remake.
Yeah. Reimagining is a good way to put it. So I know nothing about Bloodstone. I want to try it. I don't know if it's first or third person.
I think it's third.
I feel like it's third too. I have no idea.
Because I feel like it would have piqued my interest more if it was first. So the fact that I know like nothing about it makes me think it was probably third.
It is.
I know it was an original Daniel Craig story, so that was kind of a cool thing. It was. I feel like the writer was someone known, but I could be wrong.
Huh.
We'll have to look more into that. But anyway, The other game that came out that same year was, of course, GoldenEye 007 for the Wii, which Nintendo hyped up and showed off with this crazy trailer at E3 where it was like focus groups talking about GoldenEye coming back. And
Yeah, I remember that, and they're like, "Oh, it's the best game of all time!" Like,
yeah,
I mean, I don't think they were overhyping it, and that's saying a lot for a game that is pretty legendary. But that trailer was so cheesy. I was like, "Oh my god!"
It was super cheesy, and it was.
I thought it was just really kind of deceptive to what it actually was. Too.
Yeah,
like
because they showed like the dam level or whatever looks similar.
Yeah.
They showed a couple things, or like the surface maybe, and you're like, oh, this looks like a remake. And then when you play the game, I never played the Wii one. I did play the remake or the definitive edition on 360.
What?
But I mean, other than the first two levels, it's a completely entirely different game.
Yeah, I honestly, what I thought it was going to be, I thought it was going to be kind of like a remix, like level remix. Like the levels would obviously have to be different, but I still thought it was going to like
keep
go
the
through
same
each
idea,
one.
but just kind of
then make different things happen.
I
Kinda
thought
like
that's
the
what it
dam
was too. And again, that's how it was billed. Like this is a second time of them kind of exploiting the GoldenEye name. This one was a little bit better than the last one.
Yeah, I'm not going to say I didn't enjoy the game because in the end I did have a good time with it. It was kind of cool to be in that with those characters and see that story again.
Yeah.
So
actually,
I'll
okay,
give it
so if you've played
but
this one, this is how Quantum of Solace plays. So I mean, same engine.
Yeah, I figured as much because I don't think but there's no third person.
Yeah,
stuff.
I think that was a little different, but like it's the COD engine and the objectives and like the waypoints and stuff. Like it's exactly that.
I think they made a little bit more effort in GoldenEye. I haven't played Quantum of Solace, but I think they did kind of make an effort to make it a little bit like the original game in places.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think some of the design decisions went more that direction.
Yeah, okay, we'll try to make it levels a little bit more open. I think there was actually even like a classic mode or something too that played more like that.
4-player split screen and all that.
So
Clay, did you play this one?
No, but this is probably the one that I would be interested to play just because it looks so interesting with the motion controls, like aiming and stuff. I mean,
yeah, I never played the Wii one, so I have no idea.
Okay, yeah.
I played the Wii one, but I played it on the classic controller because it got like packaged with one, I think.
Huh.
Oh, interesting.
That's so weird. Why?
I would imagine it plays like Prime 3, but I have no idea. I mean, that's just kind of the de facto Wii first-person setup.
Huh. Yeah, I'd be curious to try it. It looks like fun.
It's fun. It's not a bad game. It's I would say the same thing about Quantum of Solace. Like it's not great. It's not bad. Don't go in expecting GoldenEye N64 and you'll be fine.
Right.
It's a good game.
Nice.
And then 007 Legends was kind of the last one in this run of games.
Yeah, I nearly actually picked that up for Wii U, but I never ended up doing.
I forgot it came to Wii U. I have it for the 360, and I actually really like this one. It tells like 6 different Bond movies, all in like 5 missions or whatever each. So it's a lot of content. I couldn't even begin to tell you which ones it is. It's like Goldfinger, Moonraker.
Is Moonraker in there?
Yeah. And then there's DLC for whatever the Bond movie of that year was. Was it Skyfall? I think it was Skyfall.
With this Skyfall.
2012 was totally Skyfall. Which I don't think I played the DLC, but I don't remember. Anyway, this is another one built on the COD engine and runs exactly like Quantum of Solace, but again, another fun take on it. Lot of content, and maybe just because it's so many different stories, it feels like it's more than it is. Maybe, but I really liked it.
I can't believe there hasn't been a new Bond game since 2012. That's insane.
It's just the license is a mess. I mean, that's why we'll get into it, but that's why the 360 remaster never happened. But one thing I will say of all of these Bond games, now that I'm thinking back on it, the AI is atrocious in all of them. I will say that. Just like worse than the N64 AI. Well, as bad as the N64 AI, not worse. I'd say worse than Perfect Dark 1's AI, though.
Well, to be fair, the AI in the movies is pretty bad, too.
Fair enough. They're just staying true to that. Staying true to the...
Yeah.
So our episode's kind of going long. Do we want to continue down this little road or jump through these next ones quickly? How we feeling?
We should probably wrap it up.
Yeah, we should, especially.
Really quickly, there was GoldenEye Source was released. It was a mod of Half-Life.
Yes.
Half-Life 2 eventually came out on GoldenEye Source. I think whatever. It's a long-running fan project that's based on the Source engine, and very faithful recreations of the levels with like super enhanced graphics. The modes are very faithful. The weapon pickups are faithful. You play it on PC and it's plays differently, but like the rules and modes and all that are very similar. Have you guys played it?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
I have it. It's fun. Worth checking out for
I've
sure.
I've looked at pictures of it and watched some videos because it looks really cool. But isn't my understanding is that it's only multiplayer? There's no like.
Yeah, it's not like a campaign or
recreations?
anything. It's just multiplayer.
So, yeah.
It's like playing Counter-Strike, I guess. Just with
Right. That's how it should be.
It's not bad. It's fun. Yeah. It's a great experience. It's very well made. It's very lovingly done, and yeah, I nothing bad to say about it. And then the big thing is Project Bean, also known as the GoldenEye Xbox 360 remaster. Rare was working on it, and what was that, Dave?
I just said it makes my heart cry.
Oh,
think about it.
All of us. So Rare was working on it. Looks like they got pretty far along in it based on the leaked footage from a friend of the show, Amir, who acquired that. But yeah, Nintendo wouldn't sign off on it because they couldn't get it to run on the Wii, I think it was the Wii. They would have gotten just the original GoldenEye on the Wii. Microsoft would have gotten the remaster on the 360, and Nintendo.
You know what?
We don't know this for a fact. Actually, this is just what I've been told, so I'm not 100%.
That's what I've heard too. But even if it was, I don't even see what Nintendo's problem is. They still get one of their most popular games ever on their console. Supposed
selfishness and short-sightedness on their end, because it seemed like Microsoft and whoever held the license, Activision or otherwise, like was totally cool with the terms. Nintendo probably just wanted more money, even though they weren't doing any of the work. And I'm sure Microsoft was like, "Well, come on, we made the original and the remake. Like, chill."
Yeah.
So, Nintendo and Microsoft are now working together with crossplay, and that's not to say that instantly means they're going to maybe work together on something like this or more willing to, but I think it's a glimmer of hope, and we can just hope that
I think it's more likely
the conversation happens again. Yeah, I think so too.
Between Microsoft and Nintendo, I think those are less likely to be the holdups.
Yeah,
now
without
I'm more
Iwata,
worried
I
about
think
the movie license and whoever owns the game rights now, which I'm not even sure at this point.
Yeah, I don't know who they've gone to or if they're still with Activision.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's our brief last couple topics.
Thank you.
GoldenEye, 20 years old, great legacy.
Yeah.
You guys want to give any final thoughts, or are we pretty much good?
I mean, I don't know. I think it's all been pretty much said. This is a pretty brief history of it all, but there's probably some decent games in here. I think I would, if it were me personally, if I had to go back and play stuff, I would stick more in like the PlayStation era, GameCube era, and maybe stay out of the later area. But
yeah.
But those are the ones I've played, so maybe that's just why I'm suggesting it, because I haven't played a lot of the newer ones. But it's a little unfortunate.
I think it's a really good license. And honestly, even the ones that haven't been not so great, I still think they've been way better than most other licensed games.
Yeah, they all have great production value. They don't seem like rushed crap. They don't seem like shovelware. They're polished.
Even if they're mediocre,
yeah.
I feel like if you like Bond, I think most of them are probably going to be worth playing for you.
It's like the heart was there. The execution wasn't really spot on, and I think they just the typical tried to rush to meet, like, launch it alongside the movie or launch it at a certain time and just didn't quite get the polish it needed. But
yeah.
Anyway, yep, the legacy lives on, as GoldenEye is still considered the best Bond game.
Yes.
Because it is.
Amen. All right, with that, I think we can wrap up today's episode. Sorry we ran a few minutes long, but as always, you can check out Rare and Friends on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, maybe. We have it. And find us on iTunes, Google Play, and other podcasting services. Thank you all for tuning in, and next week, hopefully we will be giving ukulele final thoughts, maybe.
I think it's just going to be the running joke for the rest of this show. They'll be like, next week, stay tuned for the ukulele final thoughts. It's just never
like Jimmy Kimmel and Matt
Exactly.
Damon. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, everybody.
Sounds like a good plan, guys.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you all next week.
Yep, have a good one.
Insert James Bond quote here.
It's too easy. Half of everything is luck, James. And the other half? Fate.